Students, I am Dipali Devi, your geography teacher. Today I am going to discuss about the chapter agriculture. Already we have discussed about the major crops. The major crops are the rice, wheat, millets, maize, pulses. The food crops other than grains like oilseeds, tea, coffee, and then the horticultural crops, non-food crops, rubber, fiber crops, cotton, jute, like that. Now we are going to discuss about technological and institutional reforms. There are some points regarding technological and institutional reforms that these are agricultural development refers to efforts made to increase farm production in order to meet the growing demand of increasing population. So, based on the increasement of the population day by day and the needs, the demand, the day by day growing from the side of the population. So it is very important the change, that means the development through the technological and institutional sides. So the technological and institutional reforms are very important. Land reform was the main focus of our first 5-year plan. The first 5-year plan taken the first step to reform the land only. First, that means the right to inheritance. In 1960s and 1970s, the government of India introduced agricultural reforms. I want to say the right to inheritance means the land area. Some areas are lying and these are covered by some other people from some other places. So, first time taking out all the land area from the control of some other peoples. In 1960s and 1970s, the government of India introduced agricultural reforms. The agricultural reforms, it is taken by the government, the steps taken by the government, and in 1960s and 1970s, in this period, government introduced the agricultural reforms. The Green Revolution to improve farm output, use of new technology and HIV seeds was encouraged. The Green Revolution means the plant the trees, do the agriculture in every field. That means the field should not lying vacant. To improve farm output, that means the production should be more. Use of new technology, then instead of using the ancient types of the tools and the household tools, instead of the tools should be prepared, tools used which are based on scientific way, technologically improved. And after that, in case of seeds, the HIV seeds, that means high yielding varieties. High yielding varieties of seeds introduced, that these seeds are examined in their laboratories, and the government has instigated to the people and given the chance to the people to use the HIV seeds in the agricultural farm. The White Revolution, the Operation Flood, was instead initiated to improve milk production in the country. Another way, in 19 80s and 1990s, comprehensive land development programs were initiated that included both institutional and technological reforms. Some institutions established that they can help the farmers, and these are that are technologies, the new technologies coming to the society of the human beings. They train up the farmers to use how to use the technology, new technology like that. Then the production will be more. Provision of crop insurance against natural calamities, for example, drought, floods, etc. Sometimes this is the some natural calamities are coming up that the all the agricultural field governed by the flood, and it is for a long time the flood, the water covered the farmland for a long period of time, and sometimes that due to the lack of rain, that drought arises. That means dryness of the field. So to stop this, to fulfill these problems, the government has taken some steps: fire, disease, etc. The provision of crop insurance against natural calamities, fire, disease, etc. These are the things that destroy the agricultural field, and it is in a loss for the farmers. So the insurance facilities taken by the government to the farmers. That means if the land area destroyed by the floods, the government provided some ways to fulfill their loss. Establishment of Grameen banks, cooperative societies like that. These are the institutions that can help the farmers. Providing loan facilities at a lower rate of interest. In generally, the loan interest is high for the general people, but in case of the farmers, the loan interest is low, very low. The using the Kisan credit cards, personal accident insurance scheme. It is PAIS. The special weather bulletins and agricultural programs for farmers were introduced on radio and television. For example, Krishi Darshan, it commenced on 26 January 1997 and is the longest running television series in the world. So, for the farmers, especially one channel started through the television. For example, Krishi Darshan, and it is commenced on 26 January in 1967. That it is very important channel, important channel for the farmers, and they can take the help. They are able to know the things through this channel because some resource person telecasted the given the advices through the television channel to the farmers. The government also introduced minimum support price, remunerative and procurement prices for important crops to check the exploitation of farmers by the speculators and middlemen. That I repeat the sentence, the government also introduced minimum support price, remuneratives and procurement prices for important crops to check exploitation of farmers by the speculators and middlemen. The government has already given these provisions, given the chance to help the farmers, that if any exploitation is there arises, so it will be the very bad thing for the farmers. So that can the some of the persons engaged to look after these problems. Then after that, the food and Gramdan and land reforms is not needed for you from the geography part. Then after that, I want to see you the some important questions. The question number one in your textbook. Question number 3.1 suggest the initiative taken by the government to ensure the increase in agricultural production. The second number is describe the impact of globalization of Indian agriculture. Third number is describe the geographical conditions required for the growth of rice. I want to just give the summary. Just I want to give the summary for the first question that suggests the initiative taken by the government to ensure the increase in agriculture production. You can try to write the answer like that. The hints I want to give you. So you see the green and white revolution, it is aimed at improve Indian agricultural productivity. The green and white revolution, which aimed at improving Indian agricultural productivity, to ensure increase in agricultural production, the government prioritized cultivation, consolidation of holdings, cooperation, and abolition of zamindari system. Land reforms, land reform was the main focus of the first 5-year plan. There were other benefits introduced for the farmer, like the government of India embarked upon introducing agricultural reforms to improve Indian agriculture in 1960s and 1970s. The Green Revolution based on the use of package technology and the White Revolution, that means the operation of flood, were some of the strategies initiated to improve the lot of Indian agriculture. So like that, these are the some points. So you see the using the Kisan credit cards, establishment of some banks like Gramin Vikas Bank, cooperative societies, the provision for the crop insurance for the farmers when arises the drought, flood, cyclone, fire, and disease like that. And another thing, the government also announced minimum support price, remunerative and procurement prices for important crops to check the exploitation of farmers by speculators and middlemen. Like that, these are the things and these are the steps taken by the government that you should try to write sincerely. Then I also send the question answers to you through your app. After that, the question is describe the impact of globalization of Indian agriculture. Impact of globalization on Indian agriculture. You see, the impact of globalization of India could be traced back to colonial times. There were two main important export items from India, raw cotton and spices. There was a revolt in 1917 by the Indian farmers in Samparan as they were forced to grow indigo in place of food grains in order to supply dye means dye to Britain's flourishing textile industry. Hence, globalization has had its blessings and curses for Indian agriculture. Though the situation changed for the Indian farmers post liberalization, they faced new challenges in the form of competition from highly subsidized agriculture of developed nations. The another question, describe the geographical conditions required for the growth of rice. For the growth of rice is mainly the kharif crop. It is grown in the north and northeastern plains, coastal and the deltaic regions of India because of the fertility of the soil. It needs high temperature above 25 degrees Celsius and high humidity with natural rainfall above 100 centimeter. It grows with the help of irrigation via canals and tube wells in the areas with less rainfall. So the students, then you should take out the MCQ, some MCQ from this chapter, and the question answers you try to write. Then I will also give the question answers, the important question answers. Then you should note down. These question answers I will send in your in extra to your app. So let's stop today. The new chapter we will start in our next class. Thank you.